Hello students, welcome to iTTV Form 2 Mathematics. My name is Gary and I'm going to be with you throughout your lessons of Form 2 Maths. Now students, let's start off with Chapter 1. In Chapter 1, we're going to see directed numbers. What are directed numbers? Let's take a look. Directed numbers are numbers with positive or negative signs attached with reference to 0. Directed numbers can be represented by a number line. So students, before that, I want to show you three terms. First, we're going to see what are these things known as integers. Integers are numbers that are basically something like this: -2, 3, 5, or even 10. If you see numbers like this, and can you see that in front of the number there is a sign attached to it, thus this becomes a negative number. However, if you see the following three digits here, what happens is you don't see a positive sign attached. Thus it is understood to us that if there are no signs written, then they are positive integers. So now you have seen integers such as negative integers and positive integers. Then there are other types of numbers. We call them decimals. Probably you've heard of them. Decimals are something like this: -0.02 or 2.45. Now can you tell me which one is negative? Obviously you can see the sign. But when there is no sign here, you should understand that there is already a positive sign affixed to this digit. Now there are other types also. We call them fractions. Now, examples of fractions I'm going to give you now are such as -2/5, 1/4/5, -7/10. Now all these are examples of fractions. Now in a fraction you can see that there are numerators on top and there is a denominator in the bottom. Now the negative sign affixed to it can usually be written by the side of the fraction or on top. Thus we've got a negative fraction, a mixed number, and this is a positive fraction, and another negative fraction. With this students, now I'm going to explain to you how you can differentiate between a negative integer and a positive integer with reference to 0. The best way to do it would be to see a number line. So say for example, I'm going to list for you a line. And this number line will start off in the center with a 0. Now, dear students, remember, everything to the left of the 0 are negative integers. Anything to the right of the 0 will become positive integers. So just give me a moment, let me fill up some numbers for you so that it will be quite easier for you to see. 1, 2, 3, 4 with an arrow at the end. What about here? -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and so on. So there is an arrow here. Now, before I start, I would just want to tell you that a number line has no end to it. Thus, as the arrow increases in distance, it tells us that the numbers will keep on moving on. These numbers are non-terminating numbers. Now, there's another thing you've got to see in this number line. Let's say I'm at 0 here, okay? The further from 0 I travel to the left, I will find that the value of my numbers becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. However, the more towards the right if I travel, I will find that the value of the numbers given to me will keep on increasing, or the value will become greater. Thus, you just have to focus on two things now. Everything on the left of the 0 are negative integers. Everything on the right of them are positive integers. You don't have to put the positive symbol here because it's understood that without any symbol, then they are positive. And always remember that the numbers on both extremes are non-terminating. That means it's going to keep on going. Alright? So with that, we are done with the basic of this chapter. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to take these numbers that we have learned and we're going to do some operations to them, such as multiplication, division. Let's go to the next part then. Multiplying integers. Multiplication of two integers with the same sign will give rise to a positive integer. That is, a positive integer multiplied by a positive integer will give an answer which is also a positive numbers. A negative integer multiplied with another negative integer will also give rise to a positive numbers. Multiplication of two integers with different signs will give rise to a negative integer. That is, a positive integer multiplied by a negative integer or a negative integer multiplied by a positive integer, both will give us a negative numbers as the answer. Let's see an example now to understand that fact. Say for example, 3 times 5. It's a simple question. This integer is positive because there is no sign attached to it, therefore it is positive, is multiplied with another positive integer. So now positive times positive will give rise to another positive integer. But since it's positive, I do not have to write them down. Now what about the integer? 3 times 5 will give rise to the answer 15. Therefore, the answer is actually positive 15. Let's try another way. If I have this number given negative 3 times negative 5 in bracket, now what will be the answer? So the first step that we've got to do is find out the integer signs. Negative multiplied by negative supposed to give rise to a positive integer. Thus meaning, if the signs are the same, then your answer will always be a positive integer. 3 times 5 will give us again 15. Therefore, negative 3 times negative 5 is 15. 3 times 5 is also 15. Let's try another way now. If I give you negative 3 multiplied by 5, can you guess the answer? Once again, yes, you're right. Try out with the signs first. Negative multiplied by positive. Now the signs are not the same, are they? If they are not the same, then the answer is going to be a negative integer. You see, it's easy, isn't it? 3 times 5 will give us 15. Thus, negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. Let's do one in our brain itself, okay? What if I give you 3 multiplied by negative 5? What if I give you 3 multiplied by negative 5? Can you guess the answer? While you guess the answer, I'm going to write it down here. 3 multiplied by negative 5. I guess you got it already. The answer is negative 15 again. So with this simple example, I hope students, you can understand that same signs will give us a positive value, but if it's a different sign, then it will give us a negative value. It's as simple as that. Let's carry on. Next, we're going to take a look at dividing integers. Division of two integers with the same sign will give rise to a positive number. That is, a positive integer divided by a positive integer will give rise to a positive numbers as the answer. And a negative integer which is divided by a negative integer will also give rise to a positive numbers answer. However, division of two integers with different signs will give rise to a negative number. That is, a positive integer divided by a negative integer will eventually give rise to a negative numbers answer. A negative integer divided by a positive integer will also give rise to a negative numbers answer. Therefore, students, don't worry. As we have already seen in multiplication before, the rule kind of is similar in dividing integers as well. So let's take a look at a few examples so that we really understand what's going on. Say for example, I have this equation, 6 divided by negative 2. Now can we guess the answer here? Now you see, the integer on the left here is a positive integer divided by a negative integer. When positive divide by negative, the signs are different, aren't they? Different signs will always give us a negative answer. Thus now all you need to do is 6 divide by 2, the answer is 3. Therefore 6 divided by negative 2, the answer is always negative 3. What if I try to make a few more examples for you to do? Say suppose I give you 8 divided by 4. Now 8 divided by 4 would eventually be positive integer divided by a positive integer. The signs are the same, aren't they? So if the signs are the same, then the answer is going to be a positive integer. It's kind of similar to multiplication, isn't it? One more example, okay? Now let's take a look at this. Negative 8 divided by 4. I'm giving you more or less the same numbers, so that's going to be easy for you. Negative divided by positive will eventually become, very good, negative. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Thus, negative 8 divided by 4 is negative 2. Let's bring up the challenge a little bit more. One last one, okay? Now, in this example, I want to give you this. 10 divided by negative 4. Let's see if you can do this. Positive integer divided by a negative integer. The answer should be negative numbers. Very good. 10 divided by 4. Oops. We can't seem to divide it without any remainder, right? So let's see now how we can write down the answer. Now 10 divided by 4 can be written in few ways. I can do this 2.5. Now this, boys and girls, is a form of decimal, right? Or I can also write the same answer in a different way, such as negative 5 over 2. Now when I write the answer in this form, then it becomes a fraction. Very good. Is there any other way for me to write them down? Think. Yeah, there is one more, probably another way to do it. Let's see. 5 over 2 is an improper fraction, right? So what we can do is convert it into a mixed number. Awesome. So if it's a mixed number, then the answer would be something like this. Negative 2, 1 over 2. Now, this is also a fraction. It's in a mixed number form. Now, you see students, you've got to pay attention to the question actually. Sometimes the question will require you to answer in decimals, or sometimes the question will require you to answer in fractions. So do as you are instructed in the question. Next, we're going to take a look at combined operations of integers. In order to do a combined operation involving integers, we've got to follow the rule of BODMAS, which simply means the first step would be to simplify the expressions in the brackets. Next, we should divide or multiply them from left to right. Finally, we should carry out addition or subtraction from left to right again. So students, I'm going to give you an example with combined operations involved in it, and let's see whether you can do it. So for example, I'll give you this simple question. Negative 3 in bracket plus box bracket 2 times negative 6 close bracket divided by 3. Okay, in order to carry out this, we always have to remember of a certain rule called the BODMAS principle. Now, probably everybody heard this before. Let me just say them to you. B is for brackets, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So that means if in any operation that is given to you, you have to carry out the brackets first, followed by division, multiplication, then finally addition and subtraction. And always remember, try to move from left to right. So can we now analyze this line of numbers that I've given to you, and let's see this mathematical problem. Does it have any brackets involved? Yes, you can see there is a bracket here. Therefore, this is what I have to solve first. So I'm going to write here part 1. This is your first solution. And after you've done this, what's next? Division. Can you see from left to right? Is there any division? Yes, there is. So that means this will be my second part of my solution. Finally, I've got addition or subtraction. In this case, it is addition. Thus, this becomes the third part. So remember, as long as you follow the rule of BODMAS, you cannot go wrong. But even if you do not follow the rule of BODMAS, you will still get a number and you might think that it is right. And you will eventually get it wrong. Okay? So always remember BODMAS rules. Okay? Let's see. I'm going to solve it step by step. So I'm going to write back whatever is in front without touching them. I did not do anything to this -3 plus whatever that's going on here. So I do not want to touch them now. So rewrite them back and solve inside the bracket. 2 times -6. Now students, can you remember what we learned before this? Negative integer multiplied by a negative integer will give us positive integer. Positive integer multiplied by negative integer will give us a positive multiplied by negative will give us a negative answer. Therefore, the value here will be negative. 2 times 6 is 12. Close bracket divided by 3. Okay? Now step 2. In step 2, I've got to solve this, right? So whatever's in front just follows. Let's not disturb them. Plus -12 divided by 3. Once again, let's apply the principle. Negative integer divided by a positive integer will become, very good, a negative integer. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Now we do the third part of our story. -3 plus -4. In order to do this, I'm going to bring you to the number line. So now let's see. I've got two numbers here, -3 and -4, right? So let's go to -3. Let's go here. This is where we are right now. -3, right? Plus -4. Now I want you to remember this thing. Check this out. If you ever see a sign, bracket, sign, sign, bracket, sign. Now, the bracket will now represent a multiplication operation. That means positive multiplied by negative. Now, by your experience, you already know that positive multiplied by negative will become very good, negative. So I'm going to rewrite them back now. -3 minus 4. Now, this is what I've got to find. How to find this? Let's see. I'm going to take you to the number line. And in this number line, we can see that we are right now here, -3. What we have to do now is minus 4. -3 minus 4. If you are subtracting, move to the left. If you are adding, move to the right. Remember again, subtraction move to the left, addition move to the right. What are we doing? Subtracting. So -3 minus 4, let's move 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm here now. So let's see, if this is -3, then this number here should be -4, -5, -6, -7, right? So dear students, what would be the answer for -3 minus 4? In your imagination, -3 move to the left. -4, -5, -6, -7. The answer is now -7. Okay? So, in this case, the answer for this problem is -7. Follow the BODMAS rule, step by step, and if you can't get it, refer to the number line. Okay then students, another example coming up now. And in this example, 3 plus, box bracket, -5 plus 2, close bracket, times 6 divide by -3 minus 2. this also in box bracket. Okay students, now this, as you can see, is a bigger problem for us. Alright, now let's try to find a solution together step by step. First step, BODMAS rule tells us to complete the brackets first. Can we do that now? Let's see. 3 plus negative integer 5 plus 2. Negative 5 plus 2. So you remember now, in the number line, let's say negative 5 is here. If I'm going to plus 2, should I move to the right or should I move to the left? I should move to the right. How many steps to the right? 2 steps. So if I'm at negative 5, let's imagine this together. Negative 5, alright? Negative 4, negative 3. You cool with that? Good. So 3 plus negative 3 multiplied by, let's complete this box bracket now first. Inside this bracket, we can see that there are 2 operations. One is a division and another is a subtraction. Which are we going to do first? BODMAS. B for bracket, D for division. Cool. Now, 6 divided by negative 3. So when 6 divided by negative 3, what am I going to do? Use like the simple principles that we did before this. Positive divide by negative will eventually give us a negative number, right? 6 divided by 3, 2. Thus, 6 divided by negative 3, I've got the answer as negative 2 minus 2. You see, it's that easy. Now, do we still have the brackets or not? Yes, we do. We've got some operation that's supposed to be completed in here, right? So we cannot go to the multiplication before we complete the bracket. Let's continue again. Sorry, I left out the equal sign just now. So now it's going to be 3 plus negative 3 multiplied by negative 2 minus 2. I'm going to do it a bit fast. I already know the answer is negative 4. But how did I know that? Negative 2, let's say negative 2 was here. I'm going to minus 2. Left or right? Left. Very good. Negative 2. So one step. Negative 3, negative 4. Good. So now all we need to do is complete and give us the answer by going from left to right. Can I do this now? Or do this? Very good. You caught us now. Now, see, BODMAS tells us that multiplication has to be done first. But although multiplication has to be done here, there is a problem for us now, don't we? You see, we've got a negative 3 multiplied by negative 4. Can you still remember? Negative multiplied by negative will become very good positive. Now, 3 plus negative, negative, positive. I don't want to write them. 3 multiplied by 4, 12. The answer is a simple 15. So, are you happy with the way you went through this? If not, you can always double check the answer and you can do more exercise to make yourself better at it. So with that students, we're going to see one last problem on our slides. Find negative 3 times 5 divided by bracket 2 plus 3 times negative 2, close bracket. Leave the answer as a decimal. Alright students, now we have a challenge ahead of us. Find negative 3 times 5 divided by 2 plus 3 bracket negative 2, the whole thing is in bracket now. Now this is the problem I'm giving you and I want you to leave the answer as a decimal. Okay? So now I want you to try it out first, and after you've tried this question out by yourself, then I want you to continue viewing and see what your answer is compared to us. Alright? So I'm going to continue doing it now. Let me write back the question. Negative 3 multiplied by 5 divided by 2 plus 3 bracket negative 2 bracket again. Now I want to take your attention to this part here first. Can you see this? Can you see this? There is 3, there is no operation here, but automatically you can see there's a bracket. So what does this actually mean? So I want you to understand this thing. So follow me over here now. All right, so leave the question for a while. Let's take a look at this. If I give you 3 bracket negative 2, this simply means 3 multiplied by negative 2. Okay, so that's why, remember just now when there was a positive bracket negative, what we did was positive multiplied by negative. So that same principle applies here. Let's try one more now. Okay, negative 3 bracket negative 2. Now what does this mean? It simply means negative 3 multiplied by negative 2, right? So now you understand what it means already. Let's get back to the question. Okay, according to the rule of BODMAS, we've got to finish the brackets first, right? So let's carry out the bracket first. Negative 3 multiplied by 5 stays untouched, divided by, let's see this, 2 plus multiplied, carry out first, 3 times negative 2, or 3 multiplied by negative 2. The answer is going to be negative 6. Now, I still have to complete my bracket first. Thus, I'm going to leave all these untouched for now. Divided by. Now, in my bracket, it's 2 plus negative 6. Now, I want you to focus back on the number line. 2, say suppose 2 was here, plus bracket minus. If plus bracket negative, then it eventually becomes positive times negative, which becomes negative. So 2 minus 6. 2 minus 6, we've got positive 2 minus, therefore I need to travel left how many times? 6. So 2 minus 6 will eventually become 2, 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. So now the answer would be negative 3 multiplied by 5 divided by negative 4. You see? Now according to the BODMAS rule, which do we do first? Bracket, done already. Division. So let's take a look at the division now. Division is this part of it. Can you see this? We've got to do this first. So negative 3 multiplied by 5 divided by negative 4. 5 divided by negative 4. Positive divided by negative. The answer will be negative. 5 divided by 4. I'm going to leave it like this. 5 over 4. Okay. Now, the whole thing in bracket. Next part of it, we're going to solve this. Negative 3 multiplied by negative 5 over 4. Negative multiplied by negative will give us a positive numbers, right? So positive, I'm not going to write it down. 3 multiplied by 5 over 4, the answer will be 15 over 4. Now, go back to the question, all right? This was the question given, okay? And they gave us an instruction to leave it as a decimal. So now, I haven't followed this yet. Why? Because the question that I had, I did it step by step. I showed you step by step how to go through it, okay? And finally, we came to this answer. Is this my final answer? Not yet, because the question asks us to give the answer in the form of decimal. So how am I going to change this into decimal? Carry out your normal division, okay? 15 divided by 4. Now eventually the answer will become 3.75. Once you're done, you can carry out the normal division that you learned, or you can always double check your answer using a calculator. If this is what you did, then you deserve a clap right now, because you've worked hard from the beginning until now, and what you've done is you've managed to do one tough question here. So till then, thank you for viewing iTTV Mathematics. Take care.